I really appreciate you joining me today, and these are some updates coming from London. Thank you to Dave Nathan for his coverage from the scene, and I want to bring up this first story due to the public reaction, and they helped to save this woman's life. This video is sponsored by Palm Luxury Rentals, based in Manchester. They have luxury cars, sports cars, 4x4s and more, providing deliveries across the UK and chauffeur services. Police were called on the 28th of October to Edgware Road, following reports of a stabbing at 2 PM in the afternoon. A woman aged in her 30s suffered multiple stab wounds, and she was taken to hospital where her condition is not thought to be life-threatening. A male aged in his 50s has been arrested, and he was detained by members of the public who fought with him while he was attacking the woman, and they used chairs in order to subdue him. So massive respect to every single person that risked their lives in order to try to stop this woman from being killed by this man, as it appears allegedly has happened. The whole of the main road was cordoned off outside Costa Coffee and Marks and Spencer's, and there was forensic officers gathering evidence. There were several diversions throughout the day, but the main part of the story is that the woman has survived and that she'll be able to make a full recovery, thanks to the people that was walking by and intervened. So as of yet, nobody has been charged in relation to that incident, but we'll definitely keep you updated on anything to do with that story. In some other news, in relation to the Just Oil protesters, they blocked off the Dartford Bridge, the QE2 bridge, for 42 hours. 2 men have been arrested on the 18th of October following them shutting down the traffic on the motorway due to the fact they were on the bridge. Officers brought a raised platform to bring down the two and arrested them when they scaled the bridge, and confirmed this afternoon that they've both been charged in connection with this incident. Morgan Trowland, 39 years old, from Islington, and Marcus Decker of No Fixed Abode was charged with conspiracy to commit a public nuisance. Chief Inspector Simon Anslow of Essex Police said, "Our priorities have always been to keep people safe and work with the partners of Essex to keep it moving. We have done this consistently throughout the disruption across the country, and we will do it again next week." On social media over the past several weeks, there has been a lot of different protests across the country and roads being blocked off, and a lot of different criticisms about the protesters, which I'd like to hear what the subscribers think about this and the environmental points that they're trying to raise. In a story that I posted on the channel several days ago in relation to a police chase that occurred in April, a male has been convicted and sentenced today for possession of a firearm after he was tasered by police. An off-duty police officer chased down Clive Tebu, 31 years old, from Bexley on the 19th of April 2022. Police from the Metropolitan Road and Transport Police Command were on a routine patrol in Lee Road when their attention was drawn to a grey Mercedes driven by Clive. They signalled for him to pull over, but he failed to do so. Instead, he led them on a pursuit through residential streets, weaving in and out of traffic and narrowly missing an oncoming motorcyclist. He reached speeds of up to 77 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. In a desperate bid to get away from police, he rammed a member of the public's vehicle and also mounted the pavement. He jumped out the car and then fled on foot, and one of the officers gave chase, and Clive climbed over a wall and jumped into the River Quaggy on the other side. The officer followed and waded through the water wearing his full kit and arrested Tebu at taser point. During the pursuit, Clive had thrown items from the car, and when the police went back to recover them, they found a loaded firearm and also ammunition and a large amount of cash. They found 75,000 in total. Clive Tebu was jailed for 5 years and 10 months and pled guilty to possession of the firearm, dangerous driving, failing to stop, driving without insurance, possession of a firearm while prohibited, possession of ammunition, and possession of ammunition while prohibited. He's also been banned from driving for 59 months. In another story coming from Wembley, this is about the importation of firearms, and a man has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for importing 4 guns from the United States. On Thursday the 25th of August, Darnell Matthews, 23 years old, from Wembley, pled guilty to the importation of the 4 guns and 1 count of possession of a knife. He was sentenced to Harrow Crown Court on the 18th of October. On Friday the 13th of May, police were alerted to a package that was connected to Matthews, and when they opened it, they found it contained a Ruger handgun with 5 bullets. The Metropolitan Police Crime Command were alerted and made the weapon safe. A joint operation was launched with Border Force, and further firearms were intercepted and recovered. One of them was a Glock handgun loaded with 11 bullets and also a Sig Sauer pistol. All of them were linked to Matthews. On Monday the 27th of June, during a planned operation, Matthews was arrested. He was detained by the police, who searched him and found him to be in possession of a lock knife. He was charged and remanded in custody, and during the ongoing investigation they found transactions that proved that he paid for the firearm, and it left him with little option but to plead guilty. Detective George Gorman said Matthews was intent on bringing illegal firearms into the country, which no doubt would have ended up in the hands of criminals and caused violence on the streets. We are working tirelessly to try to target those who cause this kind of harm, and we are doing everything to make the street a safer place. So really appreciate you joining me for these stories, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Don't forget to contact at news@Scarcity Studios to send your stories and promotional inquiries.